The aerial bombardment of Islamic State positions in Iraq and Syria by US and coalition aircraft is a daily occurrence. But when it comes to the Libyan civil war, the US disapproves of any overt external military support for either side, including factional support by Egypt, Qatar and Turkey. However, after the release last weekend of an Islamic State video showing the execution of 21 Egyptian Coptic Christians, diplomats appear to be drawing a distinction following retaliatory strikes by Egyptian fighter jets in Libya.
We do believe a political solution, one that's led by the UN, is the best path forward. We also believe that this horrific attack that happened against the Egyptian Copts over the course of the last several days is something that we understand the outcry from the Egyptians, and while we're not going to confirm their military action, going after ISIL is a different entity than internal divisions or internal battles within Libya.
US intelligence agencies have been monitoring the movement of fighters from North Africa into Syria and Iraq for several years, and they're now examining the extent of Islamic State operations in Africa.
We know they want to metastasize into other places, but those other places, whether it's North Africa or Afghanistan, is still a nation effort, and in some cases aspirational at best. It doesn't mean we're not taking it seriously, that we're not monitoring it.
The US isn't ruling out the possibility of taking military action in areas where ISIL activities have expanded to become a threat.
It's been clear, and we've been clear, that we continue to have the right to engage terrorist networks wherever they are if they threaten Americans or American interests.
But one regional expert says political leadership in Washington is failing to adjust to the rapidly shifting reality of the political and security situation in Libya.
I think it's going to take time because despite the horror of what we've witnessed, I think there's a failure to appreciate the full extent to which Libya has ceased to exist.
This week, the US has been hosting a global summit on countering extremist threats worldwide. But officials have said little about the emerging threat from Libya. The focus on Libya is instead centered on the United Nations Security Council, where the Egyptian government is pushing for international support for military action. Given recent tensions between Washington and Cairo, the extent of Egyptian influence here remains an open question at a time when the US continues to primarily support UN mediation efforts in Libya. Ryntjes, CCTV, Washington.